All right. Am I on focus? Okay, so they say that story is king, but how do you develop your story? That is what we're going to talk about right now. Sup, folks? It's me again, Paul, and today I'm going to share with you how I develop my story so that hopefully it will help you when you're in a situation where you are stuck and you don't know how to develop your story for your next YouTube film. Do keep in mind that this is my personal process. It's not a Bible that you should follow, although I'm hoping that this information will help you develop your own stories. A lot of aspiring filmmakers like me that I see today focuses more on shots. Although shots are important, don't get me wrong, shots are important. Composition, lighting, etc., etc. But I think what an aspiring filmmaker should focus more is how to keep their audience more interested or immersed in their film. Because at the end of the day, your audience will not judge your film by how good your shots are, but rather how good your story is. So this is how I try to keep my audience interested through story. What happens next? Ask yourself, what happens next? Say, for example, you have an idea, okay? You have an idea for a story. And this story is about two persons wanting to explore the islands of the Philippines, something like that. And you begin your story by having these characters meet at the airport. Ask yourself, what happens next? Were they able to catch their flight on time? Then, what happens? Ask yourself this question. Whenever you are stuck in developing your story, what happens next? If you don't know what happens next to your story, the next best thing to ask yourself is, what is it that your character wants? Have several characters and think, what does these characters want? You will have a more elaborate storyline if you have several characters in your story that wants different things, and at the end or at one point, make them meet. Remember, everyone wants something. It's what drives a person. It's what moves things forward. Alright, so now you know what your characters want. You know what happens next. Now, how do you move your story further? Well, create conflict in your characters. It doesn't have to be two characters in a conflict. It could be a single character having a conflict with himself or his surroundings. You can put doubts in your character's mind. Among the many great famous directors, to my opinion, is Christopher Nolan. Okay? He's a master in creating conflict in his characters. Just watch Dark Knight, right? Each character is in conflict with each other and with themselves. You have Batman in conflict with Joker at the same time, in conflict with himself to see how far he would go just to catch the Joker. See? And then you have the Joker in conflict with Batman, and he is also in conflict with himself, whether he is doing what's good for Gotham. And then there's Harvey Dent, Two-Face, who we know is a good guy and ended up being a bad guy. And all of the conflict in each character complements the other. See? Also, conflict creates contrast in your stories. That is why it is interesting to people. Always remember what your story is all about. Most of the time, it's easy to get lost along the way when you are developing your story. You can get carried away in coming up with ideas as you develop your story. But whenever you get lost, as your story piles up, just remember, what is your story all about? Try to keep that in check from time to time. This way, you won't lose your audience. Those three that I've just mentioned about what happens next, what your characters want, and creating conflict will most of the time drown your story. Okay, so always remember, what is your story about? If you want to know more about developing story or how to develop your story, making short documentaries, just click on this video right here and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. So peace out.